Hello, I'm Amara Jones. Today is Monday, March 2nd. This is Caffeine TV, your daily news brief, here to take you through 3 headline numbers in just 3 minutes, giving you a different take on everything from housing policy to the Real Housewives. The first number up today is 63. That's the percent of the Ferguson, Missouri population, which is African American. But according to the New York Times, nearly 90%, 9 out of 10 of those who are stopped by the Ferguson Police Department in their car stops are black. And that disparity, according to the paper, will lead the Justice Department to charge the entire Ferguson Police Department with racial bias later this week in one of the last moves by Attorney General Eric Holder before he leaves office. Now, as we've spoken about here before, the Justice Department was unsuccessful in indicting individuals for the tragic deaths of Michael Brown and Trayvon Martin for violating their civil rights. But perhaps the holding to account of an entire police department might be just as important and impactful. That's because it spotlights the culture of systemic racism, which contributes substantially to the deaths of black men. One of the examples cited is how in the Ferguson Police Department, openly emails that are racist and have racist jokes are circulated. Well, after the clashes in Ferguson in August, Attorney General Eric Holder went there and said that he was going to turn over every rock in his grasp to get justice. And it seems like he's done just that, which is why at a tribute to him on Friday, a very covered Aretha Franklin called him a hero. The next number up today is 5. Now that's the number of shots fired at an unarmed black man on the ground in downtown LA yesterday, killing him, sparking an online backlash of "here we go again" comments across social media. Now, according to the LA Times, the LAPD responded to a call of an altercation between King, the homeless man who was killed, and another, and when they arrived on the scene, King didn't immediately respond to their commands, and as the tape shows, which is on our Facebook page, they began to beat him, taser him, and ultimately killed him. Now, the head of the police commission in LA says that we shouldn't immediately jump to any conclusions and that it was under investigation. But of course, this incident brings to mind the string of police misconduct, that's a euphemism, over the past year. And of course, even that of the LAPD, which sparked the LA riots. But one of the issues may be here is that 40%, 4 out of 10 of those people who are long-term homeless are mentally ill. And as a series on policing on PBS NewsHour spotlights, most police are not trained in how to deal with those who are mentally ill. Well, whatever happened here, let's hope that it's figured out quickly because ignorance kills. The last number up today is 83. Now that's the age of Leonard Nimoy, who passed on Friday. Of course, Leonard Nimoy is the actor who played Spock in the Star Trek television series and movies for nearly 5 decades. Now, his passing sparked a wave of condolences from the President of the United States to NASA astronauts to everyone else on down. But perhaps an even bigger story was the one that emerged over the weekend, that his longtime friend and colleague, William Shatner, who played Captain Kirk, would not be able to attend his funeral on Sunday. Shatner said that he had to help the Red Cross raise money in Florida on Saturday and couldn't make it back on Sunday and would instead send his daughters, for whom Leonard Nimoy was a de facto godfather. And of course, that move then led the New York Daily News to label him, quote, Captain Jerk, close quote. But William Shatner said that he could take it and said that he would do what turned into, as USA Today calls, a funeral for Leonard Nimoy on Sunday on Twitter, allowing anyone who had any questions about Nimoy to ask them, and he would answer them. And so it was a public memorial service. But I think that we should all give William Shatner a break. Now, I'm a Star Trek fan, and I've heard William Shatner say before that he has a tremendous fear of death. And so can you imagine he fears death and he has to face his own mortality when one of his longest friends dies? So everyone should just fall back and let everyone mourn in the way that's appropriate for them. But all of this just goes to show us that our television heroes in the end are actually just human.